Seeing the time is 5 p.m., I would like to call the regular meeting of the Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board for Wednesday, December 10th, 2025 to order. Secretary Ringgold, will you please call the roll?
Commissioner Elper, absent. Commissioner Forney.
Here.
Commissioner Menz.
Here.
Commissioner Olson.
Here.
Commissioner Rucker.
Here.
Commissioner Schaefer.
Here.
Commissioner Turner.
Here.
Vice President Musich.
Present.
President DeBenny.
Present.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. The agenda is before us. I'll take a motion to approve the agenda.
Also move.
Second.
Okay. Before I ask for discussion, I actually have an amendment to the agenda that I would like to move. To add a resolution to our agenda under new business related to the Charter Commission. Thank you. I think we can talk about.
Point of order.
You bet.
Was this submitted in advance?
Yeah?
It was? Okay, very
Yeah.
good. Thank you.
So is there any other discussion about adding this to the agenda? Okay. Seeing none, all those in favor of it?
I did want to add one. Is anything going to be brought up from admin and finance?
Yes, we have one motion in front of us about adding this item to the agenda, and then we'll come back to more discussion about the agenda.
Thank you.
So all those in favor of adding a resolution to the agenda under new business, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. And so now to discussion of the agenda itself. Commissioner Menz.
Yes, thank you, President Abeni. There was a resolution that I was going to add to the agenda, but it was publicly notified, but it was settled yesterday at the budget, so we don't need to add that.
Thank you for clarifying that. Commissioner Forney, did you have a comment to make?
Just was wondering whether anything was going to be brought up from admin and
Yeah.
finance. Thank
So
you,
there
sir.
are three resolutions that if they pass during the Admin and Finance Committee, they'll come up to the full board. So we won't adjourn the full board until the very end of the night. Any other discussion? I'll just mention that we have, in addition to our normal 5:30 open time, we have a 5:45 public hearing, and then we also have a 6:30 public hearing on the Planning Committee. Okay, with that, all those in favor of approving the agenda, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. That motion carries. We have no minutes, and we do not have a report of officers this evening, so I'll move to reports of appointees to outside boards, commissions, or committees. Anybody? You had something. Yeah. So I've had a couple of meetings this week, which is why I'm a little confused, because there's been so many agendas. But I went to an audit committee meeting on Monday, and at that meeting, the findings of a review of the park board's revenue collection practices was done, and the audit committee, was happy that the park board was already in review of that process. There were some findings. It's available if somebody wanted to talk to me about it, but it looks like the remedies will be in place this coming first half of the new year, and I think we should be in good shape. So I appreciate that about the audit committee, that they can look deeply into some of the processes and things that we do and make recommendations. I guess I'll also keep going. I was also just came from a Board of Estimate and Taxation meeting. We had a little problem with quorum, so we were able to complete some of the business. One thing is we adopted a resolution acknowledging Samantha Priest-Stinson, who is not going to serve again. But we also we did adopt the 2026 budget and levy. So that's the big work of that body, and so that's been completed. So any other reports? Okay. Then I think we can move to the consent business, and I know there are several resolutions that people want to pull. So Commissioner Menz.
Oh, yeah, if I could pull Resolution 2025-283.
283?
Yes. Yes.
Yes, okay. Commissioner Schaefer.
Pull Resolution 2025-289.
Okay. I'm not going to get this in the right order. Vice President Musich.
I'd like to pull Resolution 2025-291.
Okay. Commissioner Olson.
I would like to pull Resolution 2025-288.
Commissioner Forney.
I'd like to pull Resolution 2025-293.
Okay, and Commissioner Turner.
I'd like to pull Resolution 2025-292.
Excellent. And I will pull Resolution 2025-290. The lights are still on, I think. There we go.
Sorry.
Okay, so we've pulled several, so it almost might make more sense to move and, well,
Everything independently.
yeah, well, I think.
How about this? I'll
Yeah.
move resolutions 2025-275,
Yes.
276, 282, 280, 284,
One more.
and 283.
285, I believe.
Oh, I'm sorry, 285. My apologies.
That's all right, it was confusing. So is there any discussion on those items that have now
As
been?
a slate.
And we need to second it. Will someone please second that?
Second.
Great. Is there any discussion of that slate? Okay, seeing none. All those in favor of approving the consent business that remained as a slate, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, say nay. That motion carries. And with that, let's take these in order. I think we'll first, Commissioner Menz pulled one. If you would go ahead and move it, Commissioner Menz.
I'd like to move resolution 2025-283, resolution approving the concept plan for Jackson Square Park Diamond Sports Field improvements without a public hearing.
Second.
Okay, Commissioner Menz, assuming you have some items you want to discuss?
Yes, I'd first like to maybe make sure that we get to the open time. I know that there are folks here who might want to speak on this. Also, I think I need to suspend the rules in order to submit an amendment to this resolution. It was published ahead of time, but motion to suspend the rules.
Commissioner Menz, may I ask a point of clarification? Is this related to your amendment that you have as well?
This is the agenda item that has an amendment to it, to the language of the resolution.
The amendment, though, was for a resolution that's related to the lease?
Oh, is that a separate?
Yeah, this is the concept plan simply
Okay.
for Jackson Square Park,
Okay.
Diamond.
I might have misstepped by.
Yeah, so I think the one that you want is going to first be on admin and finance, and I'm not sure, I can't remember if you're on that committee, but that one, if it passes admin and finance, it should come to the full board.
Okay, I was
Okay.
confused because of the two
That's
Jackson
cool.
Square.
Is there any
Park.
other discussion on this particular item? Okay, I'll just comment that I think I've had some people reach out, and they're pretty excited about all of the different things that are coming forward tonight related to girls' fast pitch facility, so. With that, we'll go ahead and vote. All those in favor of Resolution 2025-283, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? That motion carries. The next one might be Commissioner Olson's.
All right, I would like to move Resolution 2025-288, a resolution honoring Becky Alper for her years of dedicated service as a Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board Commissioner. Does it have to be second?
Yep, we need a second.
I'll second.
Okay. Is there discussion?
All right, I will read the resolution in full. Whereas Becky Alper served on the Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board of Commissioners representing District 3 faithfully and with distinction since January 2020 to January 2026. Whereas Becky, an avid park patron and Rec Plus parent, was drawn to the role of commissioner by her passion to help parks adapt to the impacts of climate change, support youth programming, and the vision of parks as a platform to build community. Whereas Alper co-chaired the Planning Committee, served as a vice chair to the Operations and Environment Committee and Standards and Conduct Committee, served on the Administration and Finance Committee, Legislation and Intergovernmental Committee, Operations and Environment Committee, Planning Committee, Recreation Committee, and Standards and Conduct Committee, and represented the board on the Cedar Riverside Partnership, Lake Street Greenway Partnership, and Planning Commission. Whereas to help parks adapt to climate change, Becky championed alternative transportation and better access to parks through multiple modes, including supporting and advancing travel demand management study at Theodore Wirth Regional Park, establishing the Midtown Greenway as a regional trail, and inspiring the 2023 to 2026 transit and park access performance goal. Whereas Becky's professional knowledge in transportation planning initiated the MPRB's search for data related to park visitor use, resulting in the MPRB securing a contract with Placer.ai to provide data that will have lasting benefits by supporting alternative transportation to parks and assisting with creating data-based park visit estimates, park program development, and budget development. Whereas Becky's advocacy for youth and working families helped advance the staff development of sliding scale for youth programming fees, additional funding for shade structures at wading pools, and supporting Rec Plus as a child care option for school-age children. Whereas Becky emphasized the importance of ice rinks and urged staff to develop solutions that resulted in Weber and Powderhorn rinks being reopened on land and retained all other rinks in 2025 and 2026. Whereas Becky's accomplishments on behalf of District 3 include naming parkland known as the CPRO site, the Parque Monarca, engaging with neighborhood to add a basketball court at Corcoran Park, protecting funding for the Central Gym Skate Park, completing the third playground improvement at Powderhorn Park, and securing parkland dedication funding for Normanna Triangle. Whereas Becky authored an ordinance amendment to treat affordable housing units financed by tribal government units in the same manner as local, state, and federal government units in the Dibble-Hornstein Parkland Dedication Ordinance. And whereas Becky supported the naming and renaming of several facilities to honor the contributions and rich history of past and present commissioners, community leaders, and or communities, including the Eddie Manderville and Lorraine M. Smaller. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board recognizes and thanks Becky Alper for her contributions, commitment, hard work, initiative, and creativity in service to the Minneapolis Park system. And be it further resolved that the Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board extends to Becky its expression of gratitude for her loyalty and dedication, and extends to her its heartiest wishes for good health and happiness in all future endeavors.
Awesome. Is there other discussion? Any discussion? I'll just say I wish Commissioner Alper well, and Commissioner Menz.
Yeah, I really, thank you, President Benny. I think that Commissioner Alper was sometimes, I think one of the things that I remember about her was her motion regarding the union negotiations, and just that she saw what was right and just acted, even though she wasn't necessarily someone who would be considered a workers' champion before that. And I think that that was something that really moved me about Becky.
Commissioner Olson.
Yeah, I'll say more to Becky personally, but it's no secret on this board that she and I were very close, and we were, close political allies and friends, and, we would often, after meetings, we would bike together as far as we could before our paths split, and discuss the meeting events and, what we would hope to accomplish, and, life and family and all that stuff. And I'm going to miss her dearly. And she really was an asset to this board. And, she's in Newark right now, and so I hope she's enjoying that and having fun with her family. And I hope she's no stranger for the next 4 years as well.
Thank you. Okay. Okay, well, I think we can go ahead and vote on this resolution. All those in favor of Resolution 2025-288, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries.
I will move Resolution 2025-289, honoring Billy Menz for his years of dedicated service as Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board Commissioner.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there discussion? Commissioner Schaefer?
Whereas Billy Menz served on the Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board of Commissioners representing District 1 faithfully and with distinction since January 2022 to January 2026. Whereas Billy, an educator by profession, brought extensive experience as a coach with MPRB athletics programming to his role as commissioner, as well as his drive to fight for our youth, the environment, and social justice through activating parks. Menz chaired the Legislation and Intergovernmental Committee and Recreation Committee, co-chaired the Recreation Committee and Standards and Conduct Committee, served as vice chair to the Operations and Environment Committee, served on the Administration and Finance Committee, Legislation and Intergovernmental Committee, Operations and Environment Committee, and Recreation Committee, and represented the board on the Board of Estimate and Taxation, the Minneapolis Tree Advisory Committee, Mississippi Watershed Management Organization, Neighborhood Revitalization Program, and the St. Anthony Falls Heritage Board. Whereas Billy was instrumental in the creation and implementation of the Diamond Sports Technical Advisory Committee, which set direction for youth and adult diamond sports and will impact generations of park visitors. Whereas Billy's accomplishments on behalf of District 1 include helping secure $5 million in state bonding for the missing link and supporting the approval of the first implementation phase for the missing link and the opening of Graco Park. Whereas Billy championed a gender balance in the diamond field sports for youth by helping dedicate resources to create fields for fast-pitch softball. Whereas Billy made the organization's work to develop and take action on an Indigenous action plan a high priority, and through his support, secured ongoing funding for Indigenous liaison consulting position. Whereas Billy was a strong supporter and advocate for MPRB's largest investment and most transformative recreation center project at North Commons Park. And whereas Billy supported the naming and renaming of several facilities to honor the contributions and rich history of past and present commissioners, community leaders, or communities, including Eddie Manderville and Lorraine M. Smaller. Now therefore be it resolved that the Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board recognizes and thanks Billy Menz for his contributions, commitment, hard work, initiative, and creativity in his service to the Minneapolis Park System. And be it further resolved that the Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board extends to Billy its expression of gratitude for his loyalty and dedication, and extends to him its heartiest wishes for good health and happiness in all future endeavors.
Okay. Is there discussion? I mean, I have a couple of things to say. Billy, and I should just clarify that we're doing this for the members that are not returning next year. I think that you pushed our board. I think you were recognized in that resolution in the ways in which I think we've done some things that we wouldn't have done if you weren't on this board. That's kind of a big deal. You've been an engaged commissioner. In fact, you're so engaged, I wonder if you're going to put your light on to discuss your very own resolution. If you do that, it's okay. But you will be missed, and I really hope see, I really hope that we hear from you. I'll need to hear from you. I think especially around some things around some of the sports and the facilities and things like that. So thank you for your service, and I will call on Commissioner Menz.
Thanks, that's so funny, President Abeni, because I do feel the eyes of, shut up, Billy. That happens in my life elsewhere as well. Thank you. It's been really an honor to serve on this board and to think about all the accomplishments that we've had over the years because of the leadership of others. So thank you for allowing me and listening and allowing that action to take place, and know that it's coming from a space of service and commitment to community. So I'll miss coming here and listening to the people who come to open time and seeing my friend Tally out there, although I might be sitting right next to him. So thank you very much. I appreciate those words, Commissioner Benny, and whoever wrote the whereas clauses. Thank you so much. That was really an honor. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Commissioner Schaefer.
I just want to add my own one more whereas, and that is that I think Billy's heart has always been with the community first and foremost. And whether that be last night with the dog park resolution, whether that be initiatives in like my district or other people's district, North Commons, I think Billy's heart has always been amplifying and supporting the voice of community, and I always have appreciated that about you.
All right. Without further,
Your mic's not on.
let's go ahead and vote. All those in favor of Resolution 2025-289, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? That motion carries. And I'd like to go ahead and move Resolution 2025-290, a resolution honoring Stephanie Musich for her years of dedicated service as a Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board Commissioner. Will somebody second that?
Second.
All right. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and read this. and then we can have discussion. So honoring Stephanie Musich for her years of dedicated service as a Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board Commissioner. Whereas Stephanie Musich was first elected to the Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board in 2013 and has served three terms in office representing District 5 by bringing a determined, reasoned, and compassionate perspective and voice to park board operations, management, and governance. Whereas Stephanie demonstrated a deep concern for the Minneapolis park system throughout the city, including parks on the north side where she and her husband Matt owned a home near Falwell Park, and a great love for the Lake Nokomis area where she and her husband raised their son Optimus on the south shore of Lake Nokomis. Whereas Stephanie founded and served as president of the Friends of Lake Nokomis and has always advocated for the protection of lakes, rivers, creeks, water bodies, and their shores, and the health of the entire natural environment. Whereas Stephanie's professional work as an accountant, it's missing a thing there, as well as systems and IT analyst for a local corporation, brought to the park board a holistic, common sense, practical, and analytical approach to issues with the sustainability of the system front of mind, and always challenged park board staff to put forth their best efforts in thinking on all projects to deliver consistent user experiences that adapted to changing needs. Whereas Commissioner Musich served as Vice President, chaired the Operations and Environment Committee, co-chaired the Operations and Environment Committee and Recreation Committee, served as Vice Chair to the Recreation Committee and Standards and Conduct Committee, served on the Administration and Finance Committee, Legislation and Intergovernmental Committee, Operations and Environment Committee, Park Police Governance, Operations and Oversight Committee, Planning Committee, Recreation Committee, Standards and Conduct Committee, and represented the board on the Internal Audit Committee, John H. Stevens House Organization, Minneapolis Institute of Art Board, Minneapolis Parks Foundation, Minneapolis Riverfront Partnership, Minneapolis Tree Advisory Committee, Minnehaha Creek Policy Steering Committee, Neighborhood Revitalization Board, Program Board, Youth Coordinating Board, as an alternate member to the Mississippi Watershed Management Organization. Whereas Stephanie's concern for the environment and management of natural resources permeated her work as a Minneapolis Park Commissioner on such projects as reimagining the use of 160 acres comprising Hiawatha Golf Course and championed the Hiawatha Golf Course Long Range Vision Plan, which addresses a flawed century-old landscape design within a floodplain, and through the new design will greatly enhance and preserve Lake Hiawatha, Minnehaha Creek, and surrounding environs, while maintaining the sport of golf as a land use, but expanding access for the general public to this parcel of land and adapting to our changing climate by becoming more flood resilient. Whereas Stephanie advocated for a vastly improved multi-jurisdictional approach, more direct funding, and greater collaboration with partners in many regards, with an emphasis on water management issues for Minnehaha Creek and all the watersheds throughout the city, through the enactment of the stormwater utility fee for stormwater infrastructure ordinance on parkland, and the creation of a multi-jurisdictional steering committee guiding water quality improvement project selection and implementation in Minneapolis within the Minnehaha Creek Watershed District's boundaries. Whereas Stephanie's concern for the environment contributed greatly to protecting park board staff, the general public, and wildlife from hazardous chemicals, reducing the use of pesticides through an updated integrated pest management policy, expansion of natural areas management staffing, and better support of the volunteer stewards assisting the park board in its mission. Whereas Stephanie advocated for park board initiatives that increase the sustainability of the park system, including the historic NPP20 Neighborhood Park Program, NPP20, which brought a major 20-year historic reinvestment to neighborhood parks with a focus on addressing historic inequities and other significant sustainability efforts, like Parkway Joint Powers Agreement with the City of Minneapolis. Whereas Stephanie's desire to balance the recreational needs of Minneapolis residents and visitors with care of the natural world drove her to assist with the creation and adoption of numerous park board long-term vision plans for the regional parks of Nokomis, Hiawatha, Minnehaha, Minnehaha Creek, and Mississippi Gorge, and the Southside neighborhood parks of 40th Street Park, Boston Field Park, Diamond Lake Park, Lake Hiawatha Park, Hiawatha School Park, Keewaydin Park, McRae Park, Morris Park, Phelps Field Park, Pearl Park, Edward C. Solomon Park, and Todd Park, ensuring they contained aspirational park elements desired by the community she represented, and acknowledged that the future of parks requires adaptation to our changing climate. Whereas Stephanie also supported numerous park projects for the regional parks of Nokomis, Hiawatha, Minnehaha, Minnehaha Creek, and Mississippi Gorge, and the neighborhood parks of Keewaydin, Sibley, Phelps, McRae, Pearl, Diamond Lake, Boston Field, Morris, Todd, and Solomon, as well as many other park improvements desired by the community she represents. Whereas Stephanie was a fierce and unrelenting advocate for improving safety for all users regardless of their mode of transportation at major park, city, county, and state traffic intersections, and brought to bear all the park board could to effectuate real safety measures at the most dangerous intersections in her district at East Minnehaha Parkway and 22nd Avenue South, East Minnehaha Parkway and East 50th Street, and Nokomis Parkway, Cedar Avenue, and Edgewater Boulevard. Whereas Stephanie championed the open water swimming program held at Lake Nokomis and Cedar Lake, which provides lifeguard-supervised swimming to nearly 1,500 participants each season, whereas Stephanie's commitment to Minneapolis Park users' diverse recreational pursuits led her to dedicate many hours towards the successful adoption of the urban, agricultural, and skate park activity plans to lay the foundation for modernized amenities for gardeners and skaters of all generations. Whereas Stephanie's advocacy for winter access to the Hiawatha Golf Course Clubhouse allowed the weekend youth ski program to grow to serve over 300 young people and their families. Whereas Stephanie led the effort to upgrade and improve the park board's information management systems to modernize and make the public more able to register for programs through the implementation of initiatives like centralized registration for youth sports, pay what you can, program fees, and to use park assets through public-facing interactive online mapping for park assets and their maintenance to provide real-time status of trails, drinking fountains, beaches, and pools. And whereas Stephanie was a key advocate for responsible governance of our park board on many levels, including a major board rule change that requires 24 hours advance notice by commissioners to the public of proposed changes to pending board actions, which added transparency, awareness, and thoughtful deliberation of the board. That was one of the major rule changes of the park board in the last 20 years, which greatly improved the governance of the institution and transparency to the public. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board thanks Stephanie Musich for her 12 years of service as a park board commissioner and acknowledges and appreciates her many contributions, the personal sacrifices, and her devotion to a better park system for all Minneapolitans. And be it further resolved, the Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board extends a deep expression of gratitude to Stephanie Musich and her family for her loyalty and dedication, and extends to her the heartiest wishes for good health and happiness in all her future endeavors. Thank you.
I promised myself I wouldn't cry, but that was really thoughtful. Thank you.
Commissioner Forney.
Oh, I'm choked up too. Having served with Stephanie her entire tenure, both John, my husband, and I wish to add, in addition to all of your professional platitudes, Stephanie is a human being who lives her life wherever she finds herself. At park conventions, she's led the adventures, all the while analyzing the local parks and even a few cemeteries. She always plunged with panache at the annual polar plunges. She and Matt built a huge garage and patio to host parties, to make their own beer, to indulge her gardening in a spurt of whimsy. They placed a sauna on top, which they charcoaled for environmentally safe protection. Once Stephanie made some plum jam from her own trees. She gave us a jar. Which was sweeter, the jelly or her generosity? Stephanie, you have taught us to live our life to the fullest while offering your skills for common good. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you.
Is there, Commissioner, Vice President Musich?
I'm going to pull amends and also speak to my own resolution. Tonight is bittersweet. I am looking forward to many things. Amongst them, an end to being on the receiving end of threats and intimidation, to having more time for my family, friends, and many extracurricular pursuits. But I am also mourning the loss of playing a role in guiding the work of this institution as it works to steward our public lands and serve the recreational needs of visitors and residents in Minneapolis. First and foremost, I must thank all the staff and constituents that have taken time out of their busy lives to reach out to me after the election to share how much my work on the park board has meant to them and how appreciative they were about how I went about performing the role of park commissioner on their behalf. I worked hard during my time here to balance the diverse needs of the people I represent while pushing towards a more sustainable and inclusive future. During my tenure, I considered the future beyond my 4-year terms when making decisions and setting goals. I listened to all sides. I treated staff with respect. I earned the trust of many and was able to accomplish more than most commissioners with the help of my colleagues and our dedicated park employees. I'm thankful I had this opportunity to put my knowledge, experience, and commitment to a sustainable park system to work for the people of Minneapolis. And tonight is not goodbye forever. I'll see you all in the parks.
Other comments from commissioners? Any discussion? I'll just say that something else that wasn't in there, the way in which you worked with this board when we all came in, only you and Commissioner Forney were returning, and there were 7 new members. You worked with each of us, even for things that weren't your personal agenda items, but you showed us how to do the work that we were interested in doing, and you worked with us patiently and consistently. And I would say to the citizens of Minneapolis, we have a very excellent commissioner here in District 5 who'll be leaving, who did a tremendous amount for this system and for this city. And I just really appreciate you, and just know that there's a real legacy here that you have, Commissioner, Vice President. So with that, I think we should go ahead and vote on this resolution. All those in favor of Resolution 2025-290, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. And with that, I'm going to pause, and we're 3 minutes late beginning open time, our 5:30 open time. Briefly read the rules. Thanks to those of you who have come to speak during tonight's open time. I will call on people from the speaker list only. Names are added to the speaker list by calling in before 3 p.m. on the day of the meeting, or by adding it in person at the board meeting before 5:30 p.m. The time allotted for all speakers shall not exceed 15 minutes. We have 9 speakers, so I'll allow up to 2 minutes per person. Please watch the timer and stay within your allotted time. This is an opportunity for you to address the board. We are listening, but we will not respond. That said, please don't hesitate to contact any of the commissioners for dialogue and further discussion. To protect the privacy of individuals, please refrain from commenting on specific personnel issues or pending litigation. Discriminatory or harassing words directed at anyone will not be tolerated. Each speaker is asked to state their name and where they live. And with that, the first name on my list is William Munich, followed by Dale Hume. William? Dale. And followed by Rachel Ulfers.
Hello, my name is Dale Hume, and I've been up before the board here just last month. But I'm here because I coordinate North Commons, well, actually North Minneapolis Park Board hockey. We have a facility problem at North Commons Park, which is where the central park out of which hockey for North Minneapolis goes, and I didn't know where else to go. So I thought I'd sign up for open time. Maybe somebody has something, an idea they can do. But what happened was, because of construction at North Commons Park, the ice rink there was jeopardized because the construction was right next to it. So we had brought up the possibility of moving a portion of the ice facility to another adjacent area back about, gosh, almost at the end of last season, because we could foresee if there was a problem. So we were assured there'd be no problem, that in the master plan, the park, the existing 2 rinks are in there, right there, and they wouldn't be affected by the construction. Well, then just last week, we found out that something went wrong with the construction, so that we would end up with just a diminished size hockey rink, really only big enough for the smaller kids in the program, and no general rink. Now, a general rink is key at a hockey facility, because the general rink provides access to skating when the hockey rink is being used for practices and games. So for instance, one friend I know on the Friends of North Commons asked me, well, where am I gonna skate when you guys are out playing hockey? I said, I don't know. So we proposed something to maintenance facilities to use that adjacent area, and we're told we can't do it, but I've given ideas about how it easily could be done. So I don't know if anybody has any ideas. I can be reached
Thank you.
through North Commons.
Thank you very much. Rachel Ulfers, followed by Carl Ulfers.
Hi, everyone. I'm Rachel Ulfers. I've been here a bunch of times, and just in case you didn't know, I'm the 612 Fast Pitch Softball Director, one of the 2 softball directors, and mom to now this year 3 Washburn High School fast pitch players, with one who just committed to play D3 softball out in Boston. So in support and gratitude, I want to stand here today and thank you all for making the commitment to partner with MPS, and for the first time in decades and ever in our city, allow for funding and a plan to come forward for fast pitch fields for our athletes, for the kids that are playing now and for the kids that are going to be playing in the future. I think it's very remarkable that finally we have what we've been hoping for, and that you have went ahead and just really committed to believing in the young women that play this sport in the city. So this just today, it's all gratitude. Thank you very much. Oh, and also to the OG resolution writer that I noticed in the back. Thanks.
Thank you. Carl Ulfers, followed by Sally Dale.
Yeah, good to see all of you again. Carl Ulfers, dad to 3 daughters with Rachel that play fast pitch, and I've gotten to build a relationship with many of you over the last several years as we've worked on this. I'm here to express gratitude, gratitude both for the joint partnership that's in front of you guys tonight between MPS and MPRB. I'm also here to express gratitude to you guys for the work that you've done since the last time I was in front of you, and specifically the improved budget around Neiman as well as Bryn Mawr. If you think about this group, and I know for some of you, Stephanie, like yourself, this will be the last park board member meeting for you as a board member. I think it's a pretty incredible legacy that this group's going to be able to leave on the city. I know we've had tough conversations over the years, but if you kind of think of the end cap of both what's going to happen on the MPRB side and then jointly, hopefully, between MPS and MPRB, it's an incredible impact that you guys are going to have on our city and our community from a legacy standpoint, and we're appreciative of that. And it has been an issue for, call it 20 years, and this is going to be the group that fundamentally moves it forward. So thank you guys so much, and yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed for a good outcome this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Sally Dale, followed by Daniel Grabo.
It's open time alumni night, I guess. I'm Sally Dale, live at 25th and Aldridge in South Minneapolis, and I'm here to ask your support tonight of Resolution 255, approving the concept plan for Sioux Line Community Garden. I think that we can all agree that this plan is beautiful. it is already getting a lot of positive buzz in the community. And one of the big reasons is because Colleen Odell from the Park Board Planning Department and Allie Bose from Ani Fernandez showed up. They held multiple public meetings, several in our own rec center. They attended our community events and they listened. They asked questions, they took notes, and they incorporated the wishes and the ideas of the neighborhood into this design. When this park comes to fruition, it will be a crown jewel in Whittier. So I thank you all for your support.
Thank you. Daniel Grabo, followed by Tony Tillman.
Hi, my name's Daniel Grabo. I coached Park League hockey at North Commons for 11 years. I kind of followed my kids up through the programs. And I'm here to protest the closing of the general rink at North Commons, and I'm here to protest the shrinking of the hockey rink. And here are some of the reasons why I think this is extremely important. The hockey program that's run through North Commons might be unique. It is, I think it's unique to Minnesota, and it might be even unique to the whole country. I don't know any other program where kids can come and play hockey for $15. And we share the rink for practices and games. One of the reasons I don't want the rink shrunk, the hockey rink, many times we have to practice with two teams on the rink at the same time, and we split the ice. And to have a normal-sized hockey rink would be very beneficial. And while there's hockey practices and games going on, anyone else who wants to skate can't really skate while those are happening. So it limits the access to this rink if we were to eliminate the general rink. My kids are both in college, but they both learned how to skate and play hockey there, and they were able to do this through the park board and do other activities at the same time. It was a godsend for us. And all the underprivileged children that get served at this place who would not have any exposure to hockey have it because of this. And reducing the size of the hockey rink and eliminating the general rink would be a disaster for the program. Thank you.
Tony Tillman, followed by former Commissioner Becca Thompson.
Good evening, Park Board Commissioners. Thank you for being here and thank you for your service. I'm Tony Tillman of Waite Park. I'm here supporting Pastor Dale in the North Commons rinks. So I've lived in Minneapolis about 22 years. I'm raising a family and my kids attend Waite Park Community School. I'm a coach of my daughter's rec league soccer team. So what makes Minneapolis so special is the network of schools and parks that each neighborhood can call their own. And so the network of parks provides the backbone for healthy community and interactions, gatherings. This keeps the programming accessible. So if a kid in North Commons or any park needs a ride across town to go skating, it probably doesn't happen, and we lose out on the beauty of kids skating outdoors. So ice rinks are a core feature to providing that neighborhood gathering place during these long winters. And so I'm here today to advocate for the ice rink at North Commons Park. It's home to the North Commons team. If you don't follow Park Board Youth Hockey, the North Commons team is typically one of the best teams. They typically whoop the teams from South Minneapolis, and to me, so this is satisfying and shows that good things are happening at the North Commons rinks. North Minneapolis has so few rinks, it can't afford to lose or shrink anymore. I think the ice rinks at North Commons are vital to keeping the kids in the neighborhood skating. One less rink is one less healthy outdoor activity for kids who live nearby. Please work to keep the general rink at North Commons open. The rinks are important to the state of hockey, where it's important to keep inner city kids playing hockey, but more importantly, it's important to the kids who want to get out and enjoy winter at their community parks. So thank you so much. Quick aside, so if this is a construction issue, I noticed that the RJM fee is going to go up to 4.4 million, which I'd just like to acknowledge seems very healthy for a
Thank you.
an advisory role and not a GC or at-risk
Thank
role.
you.
Thank you.
Former Commissioner Becca Thompson, followed by Michelle Sprague. Welcome.
This is fun. I've never been over here before. Hi, I'm Becca. I used to sit up with you guys. I hope you remember me. I just, behind the scenes, I was really kind of, as we probably remember, I resigned a few months ago. And I said, please finish the softball stuff before the year's out. And I don't know that the public knows that, so I just wanted to say that you guys did it, and I'm very grateful. And I know that President Abeni did a lot of work behind the scenes, and I know that the superintendent worked, and I know that our planning staff did, and I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you. Commissioner Menz has always been a huge advocate, so I also wanted to extend my public gratitude to you all. And since I'm up here, I've never actually looked at the thing clocking me down before, which is making me nervous. Usually just beeped. I just want to take my last minute and 7 seconds to take a moment. You all are wonderful, truly, and especially those of you who are leaving, Commissioner Schaefer, Commissioner Menz, Commissioner Turner, nobody else, Alper, but Vice President Musich, you are an incredible person, and I just want to publicly say I'm so grateful to you for your leadership. I'm grateful for how you taught me. I'm grateful for your friendship. I'm grateful for your collaboration. I'm grateful that you convinced me to jump into a lake, but it doesn't take that much because I love jumping into cold bodies of water anyway. Thank you for troll hunting and for all the stupid, fun little things that you invited me to participate in, and you just made this experience for me an immense pleasure. And I just think people should know what an amazing person and commissioner. You see the big system-wide things, and you understand the little nitty-gritty. So I thank you so much. It was an honor to serve with you. It was an honor to serve with you all. Thanks.
Thank you for that. Thank you. Michelle Sprague.
Hi, thank you, commissioners. I think my handwriting needs attention. I'm Michelle Spangler.
Okay.
I'm here to speak on behalf of the North Commons Ice Rink. I was actually here last year on behalf of speaking on keeping the Wyndham Park rink open. I'm not from Minnesota. We didn't grow up playing hockey, but our kids are growing up here, and hockey is really important, especially in the winter. Otherwise, our kids would just be on screens. And I talked to a lot of parents, and having hockey and rinks and safe outdoor spaces available, especially in wintertime where it's just harder to find things to do with our kids, is really important. Last week, my son's Pee Wee team was playing the Dynamite team, and just the players and the families that were there were super diverse, and it was reflective of our city, the diversity of our city, and the diversity that we claim makes our city strong. And then later that same night, my daughter played between the first and second periods of the high school boys hockey team, and that rink down at Parade, I'm sorry, it was all white families. It was just such a marked difference. You couldn't help but notice it. And so prioritizing funding in our Northeast and North Side ice rinks is just so important. Someone else mentioned just the rides across town. Last night, my son's team could only find open ice to practice over in Pleasant during the blizzard. So we're trying to get our kids way across town just to find some open ice. And so keeping full-size playing ice rinks over here, North and Northeast, is super important. I recognize you have some difficult budget decisions to make, and I respect that. But these things really do matter, and it shows up in how our kids have access to good, healthy time. Thank you.
Thank you. That's the last name on the list, but I will call William Munich again. I don't think he's in the room. William Munich, okay. With that, I'll close open time and we'll move forward with the resolutions. Oh, actually, before we do that, we do actually have one more open time. Sorry about that, one more public hearing. So with that, I'll open the, let me find it here, the public hearing for an amendment to the ordinance, Chapter 15. And we have one speaker, Commissioner-elect Kedar Deshpande. Mr. Deshpande, welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, Commissioners. I am here to speak in favor of this ordinance change. I think it's good policy and it's fair policy that stands by our Indigenous communities. I also want to thank Councilmember Jason Chavez for doing his piece to change the city ordinance. And I want to thank Commissioner Becky Alper for pushing this forward here with this board. Thank you.
Thank you for coming to speak to that. We have no other speakers signed up for this public hearing item. And again, it's public hearing for an amendment to ordinance chapter 15. Is there anyone else in the room that would like to speak to this? Anyone else? Is there anyone else that would like to speak? Okay, with that, I'll close the public hearing, and now we'll move back to the resolutions. Vice President Musich.
I'd like to move Resolution 2025-291, honoring Elizabeth Schaefer for her years of dedicated service as a Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board Commissioner. Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. Commissioner Turner. May I speak?
Yes, please.
Thank you, President Abeni. I have the privilege of honoring Elizabeth's service this evening. Whereas Elizabeth Schaefer served on the Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board representing District 4 with energy and commitment from January 2022 to January 2026. Whereas Elizabeth had a great interest in the Minneapolis park system for years, as evidenced by her commitment to revitalizing and restoring the 7 pools in the Lowry Hill neighborhood by engaging the community and raising funds for the project. Whereas Elizabeth ran for the Park Board in 2021 and made an extensive effort to connect with every part of a very diverse community, which included Cedar Isles Dean, Kenwood, East Isles, Bryn Mawr, Lowry Hill, Loring Park, Stevens Square, Whittier, Downtown, and Riverfront communities. Whereas Commissioner Schaefer chaired the Operations and Environment Committee and Standards and Conduct Committee, co-chaired the Administration and Finance Committee and Standards and Conduct Committee, served as vice chair to the Administration and Finance Committee, Operations and Environment Committee, Standards and Conduct Committee, served on the Administration and Finance Committee, Operations and Environment Committee, Planning Committee, and Standards and Conduct Committee, and represented the board on the Lake Street Greenway Partnership, Minneapolis Institute of Arts Board, Minnehaha Creek Policy Steering Committee, Southwest LRT Community Works Steering Committee, and St. Anthony Falls Heritage Board. Whereas Elizabeth was extremely focused on ensuring the successful operations and maintenance of a tremendous park system, and recognized that preserving and perpetuating the assets of a system that took over 140 years to create was in the paramount interest of the Park Board, the city, and its residents. Whereas in her time on the Park Board, that interest led to her focus on long-term plans, like promoting and passing an endowment policy to address sustainability concern, and also by reallocating existing Park Board resources to ongoing budgeted maintenance and sustainability efforts. Whereas Elizabeth also sought to support not only the original 7 Pools fountain, but also worked with the community and the legislature to secure funds for the restoration of the Burger Fountain in Loring Park, and was always willing to assist constituents with concerns regarding the park system. Whereas Elizabeth also evidenced great interest in the Minneapolis Park Police Department, its missions, its officers and staff, and the operations and how the Park Police could better serve all citizens, residents, and constituents of the Park Board as demonstrated by her work with Eileen Johnson and the Park Safety Walk program. And whereas Elizabeth took a keen interest in the financial management and budget work of the Park Board and always endeavored to deeply understand a matter and did her homework before taking action. Whereas Elizabeth, who was elected to the Minneapolis City Council in November of 2025 city election and will continue her career as a Minneapolis City Council member, now therefore, be it resolved, the Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board thanks Elizabeth Schaefer for her dedication, service, commitment, and love of the Minneapolis park system. And be it further resolved that the Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board extends to Elizabeth Schaefer its expression of gratitude for her dedication to the Minneapolis park system and extends to her all the best wishes for good health, happiness, and all good things in her term as a city council member.
Is there discussion? Vice President Musich.
Thank you, President Benny. Commissioner Schaefer has been an amazing student when it comes to governance. She always was just ready with curiosity and an earnest desire to understand how things work. I'm thrilled that she's going to be able to take that approach to governance to the City Hall, where it's desperately needed. And I can't wait to see what that role brings. Thank you so much for all of your time here on the Park Board, and looking forward to seeing what you do at City Hall.
I'd like to say that to Commissioner Schaefer, to Elizabeth, it's been a real pleasure serving with you as my neighbor to the north, and we had to share a lake. But we came on the board at the same time, and I think your service was excellent. You exemplified, I think, supporting your community, listening to your community, acting for your community, understanding what goes on in your community, and I learned a lot from you. I really learned a lot from you. So I'm glad you're going to the City Council. I hope you'll still take my calls. And I really wish you all the best, and you should be very proud of the work you've done here. So thank you. Thank you. Commissioner Schaefer.
In closing, I'll just say thank you. It's been a privilege to serve. I just want to send my thanks to staff. I have a great respect for this organization, even greater after serving on the Park Board as a commissioner. And so I'm not going to be too far away, and we'll look forward to collaboration. Thanks.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. With that, we can go ahead and take a vote. All those in favor of Resolution 2025-291, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Yeah. Can you move it?
I am going to move Resolution 2025-292, honoring Becca Thompson for her years of dedicated service as a Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board Commissioner. Can I get a second?
You heard a second? Would you like to read the resolution? Thank you.
Just get ready to read mine. Sorry. So whereas Becca Thompson served on the Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board of Commissioners representing District 2 faithfully and with distinction since January 2022. Whereas Becca was born and raised in Minneapolis and found her first job as a lifeguard in the MPRB Aquatics Department. Later serving as manager of Weber Pool, Becca resides in the Victory neighborhood where she made her first splash. Whereas Becca has served the youth of Minneapolis as an educator in the Minneapolis Public Schools, sharing her passion for numbers and the arts. Becca also has the distinction of being a Juilliard-trained actress. Whereas Thompson chaired the Administration and Finance Committee, co-chaired the Administration and Finance Committee, served as vice chair to the Planning Committee, served on the Legislation and Intergovernmental Committee, Planning Committee, Recreation Committee, Standards and Conduct Committee, and represented the board on the Cedar Riverside Partnership, Internal Audit Committee, Metro Blue Line Extension LRT Corridor Management Committee, Minneapolis Planning Commission, Minneapolis Parks Foundation, Mississippi Watershed Management Organization, and as an alternate to the Southwest LRT Community Works Steering Committee. Whereas Becca was instrumental in advocating for girls fast pitch softball, representing the voice of players in budget and planning decisions, leading to adoption of the Thompson Amendment in coordination with MPS and implementation of proposed field improvements at 4 parks. Whereas Becca's accomplishments on behalf of District 2 include supporting and advocating for the Park Board's largest investment and most transformative project at North Commons Park. Whereas Becca and fellow commissioners advance the implementation and activation of upcoming new park at Upper Harbor Terminal. Whereas Becca advocated fiercely for redesign and adjustments to the Blue Line extension to protect parkland and ensure safety access to Victory Memorial Park. Whereas Becca did not shy from confrontation and bravely gave voice to the interests of children, her constituents, and of our park system. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board recognizes and thanks Becca Thompson for her contributions, commitment, hard work, initiative, and creativity in service to the Minneapolis Park system. And be it further resolved that the Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board extends to Becca its expression of gratitude and extends to her its heartiest wishes for good health and happiness in all future endeavors. Who knows? We might see her on the big screen.
Is there discussion? Vice President Musich.
Thank you, President Abeni. Commissioner Thompson and I kind of started out rough with the Hiawatha issue, and I was not entirely sure that I was going to be able to find a way to get over that. However, she won me over by doing her homework and reading the materials and really deeply understanding issues so that she could take action that was going to make positive change in the system. I think I also maybe helped change your mind about Hiawatha, but that remains to be seen. It's what I love to see in a new commissioner that comes in thinking they know everything, but is willing to say, I don't know everything, and I'm learning while I'm up here, and I can change my mind as I learn more. It was really courageous of her to do. She didn't pretend like she wasn't learning, and that was really great to see. So I hope it's a lesson that future commissioners can take, that you don't have to be the person you are the day you get elected. You can change as you learn more, as you experience more, as you spend more time up here. So thank you for all the years that you put in for your constituents and for your service to the city of Minneapolis. I really appreciate it.
Commissioner Menz.
Yeah, thank you, President Abeni. Commissioner Thompson and I shared a lot of joys around our fields, and her love of baseball was something that connected us. In fact, we even spent an evening in a hotel room watching a World Series game, which publicly, doesn't sound too good to my partner when I went home and I'm on the phone. But Becca was one of those people who just did the work and wanted and saw a need and acted. And I'm really grateful, and I know that the community who's sitting out in the stands over there, I guess we'll call them, are grateful as well for the so-called Thompson Amendment. And that will have lasting effect. And I know that both President Abeni and myself, have really, that amendment has really pushed this organization in a direction that we had not gone in the past. And thank you, Becca. I know you're sitting back there. And good luck to you.
Thank you for those comments. I'll make a couple of my own as well. It was an incredible pleasure serving with you, former Commissioner Thompson, and we also started serving at the same time, so one of the 7 new members, and it was fabulous getting to know you and understand how you actually engaged with your community in District 2 and really brought, I think, the voice of the community into the room around issues of North Commons, but also around the sports and things like that. And as for the Thompson Amendment, that is going to be a legacy. Over the next couple of years, that will start to be, delivering the goods, but it probably won't be done delivering the goods. I believe the last date on there might be 2028. So stay with it and continue to pay attention, and I would like to go to a ball game with you when we get the chance. So thank you for being here tonight, and thank you very much. Okay. With that, why don't we go ahead and take a vote on this? All those in favor of Resolution 2025-292, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries.
I'd like to move Resolution 2025-293, honoring Avery Turner for her dedicated service as a Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board Commissioner. Whereas Avery Turner served...
You got a second.
Oh, my apologies. Sorry.
It's okay.
Did I get it?
Commissioner Rucker got it, so you
Second.
may read.
Awesome. Way too eager. Okay, whereas Avery Turner served on the Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board to complete the term of Becca Thompson from November 5th, 2025 through January 1st, 2026, representing District 2, North Minneapolis. Whereas Avery served during the time to complete and approve the 2026 Minneapolis Park Board budget of $160 million for operating expenses and capital projects. Whereas Avery Turner is an educator who is both taught and served in administrative capacities in school districts in Minnesota. and was also a first-time candidate for the Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board in the 2025 city elections. Whereas Avery campaigned in an effort to enhance the experience of youth and families in the Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board. Whereas Avery demonstrated her commitment to children and family through her willingness to serve as a representative for North Minneapolis and to speak up for her North Side neighbors. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board recognizes and thanks Avery Turner for her contributions, comments, commitment, hard work, initiative, and creativity in the service of the Minneapolis Park System. And be it further resolved, the Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board extends to Avery Turner an expression of gratitude for her willingness to serve and its heartiest wishes for good health and happiness in all future endeavors.
Commissioner Forney.
I just want to add, I had the pleasure of campaigning with now Commissioner Turner and got to become very, very close. You are our future, and I'm so proud of the work that you have done for this very, very short amount of time here on the board. I've had the opportunity to see how your keen perspective and analysis and everything has really emerged throughout the budget process. One really important lesson that she taught me was that do not advocate for sympathy, but advocate for empathy. Empathy is about being engaged, taking ownership. It was such an amazingly wonderful perspective. And I'm just so proud of you and look forward to you sitting up here again.
Thank you. Vice President Musich.
Thank you, President Abeni. I also wanted to thank Commissioner Turner for stepping up to serve. We asked you to do a very heavy lift, which is get up to speed on what the park board is and how our budgeting process works in just a couple of weeks. And it was clear that you had actually read the material, you were asking questions, you were very deeply engaged in the process, and that was really amazing to see. So thank you for stepping up to help serve in that capacity to represent the north side of Minneapolis. I really appreciate it.
I'd like to echo that and just say, just really acknowledge your willingness to do this, because to people watching, it's hard to understand just how pure public service this was for Commissioner Turner to do that, because it was a short duration during a very complicated time of the process of the cycle of a year, and really without knowing that she wasn't going to be returning in January to serve as a commissioner. So to me, that is just pure public service, and for that, I really appreciate that, and I know we're all grateful. So thank you. It's been nice to serve with you. Other comments? Okay. Seeing none, let's go ahead and vote. All those in favor of Resolution 2025-293, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. And with that, we have concluded those consent items. So we'll move to the planning, items coming from the Planning Committee.
On behalf of the Planning Committee, I'd like to move Resolution 2025-243, a resolution approving temporary occupancy under Section 4F of the Transportation Act of 1966 for the North Side Greenway Phases 1 and 2, adjacent to and within Falwell Park, Jordan Park, Glendale Park, Irving Triangle, North Commons Park, and Lovell Square Park. Lovell, sorry.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Is there discussion? Commissioner Menz.
I'm just wondering, I'm seeing North Commons Park put into this. Is this an easement that relates to what we heard from the constituents today?
Here comes Mr. Arvidsson, Director Arvidsson. Welcome.
President Abeni, Commissioner Menz. Two answers to that question. Tonight you're approving a 4F concurrence, not an easement. So this is the process by which we sort of, as an organization and you as a board, say that we feel that this project, which is federally funded, is not going to have a deleterious impact on parks. It's not going to hurt our parks. With regard to North Commons specifically, the North Side Greenway will utilize the existing trail on the east side of the park, right along James Avenue. And there will be a partial reconstruction of that trail as part of the project, which is why we need to approve that there won't be an impact. So it doesn't come in the vicinity of the ice rink, and it's actually east of the construction that's occurring there now and would exist on a trail that is there presently.
Thank you for that clarification.
Okay, other discussion, comments, questions? Okay. Secretary, does this require a roll call? It's, yes?
I would.
Okay.
It's an occupancy, yep.
Okay, so, Secretary, will you take the roll?
Commissioner Elper, absent. Commissioner Forney.
Aye.
Commissioner Menz.
Aye.
Commissioner Olson.
Aye.
Commissioner Rucker.
Aye.
Commissioner Schaefer.
Aye.
Commissioner Turner.
Aye.
Vice President Musich.
Aye.
President DeBenny.
Aye.
You have 8 ayes, 1 absent.
Thank you. That motion carries.
I'd like to move Resolution 2025-255, resolution approving the concept plan of Sioux Line Community Garden,
Yeah.
amending the Midtown Greenway Regional Trail Park Plan, to include the approved Sioux Line Community Garden Concept Plan.
Second?
Is there discussion? Vice President Musich.
I know I'm talking a lot tonight, and I apologize for that, but it is my last meeting, so hopefully you'll bear with me. I just wanted to share for any other community group that is looking to do advocacy work to the park board in the future. Look to how Sioux Line did this. They didn't motivate people to come and yell at us. They didn't try to spin a narrative that demonized an institution. They brought people together that really loved a space and told a compelling story about how integral it was to the fabric of their neighborhood. And they asked us to empathize with them. And they asked us to defend and protect a space that brought them joy and health and happiness. I wish over the 12 years that I served, every group approached advocating for things at the park board the way that Sioux Line did, because it was very effective. And I'm grateful that that's how everyone chose to approach this in that area of the city. And I look forward to seeing the garden when we finally get it implemented fully, because the design looks amazing. So thank you for all the time, effort, and enthusiasm you brought to protecting and improving this space.
Thank you. Other comments, questions? Okay. I'm excited to vote for this. I'm really excited to vote for this. So with that, all those in favor of Resolution 2025-255, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries.
I'd like to move Resolution 2025-256, resolution approving temporary construction easement to Hennepin County for Cedar Avenue reconstruction project adjacent to and within Cedar Field Park and reducing easement fees based upon quantitative betterments.
Second.
Is there discussion? Seeing no lights. Secretary, will you take the roll?
Commissioner Elper, absent. Commissioner Forney.
Aye.
Commissioner Menz.
Aye.
Commissioner Olson.
Aye.
Commissioner Rucker.
Aye.
Commissioner Schaefer.
Aye.
Commissioner Turner.
Aye.
Vice President Musich.
Aye.
President DeBenny.
Aye.
You have 8 ayes, 1 absent.
That motion carries.
I'd like to move Resolution 2025-263, resolution approving renaming 28th Street Tot Lot to Chickadee Park.
Second.
Second. Is there discussion? Last chance on Tater Tot Lot. Incoming Commissioner Deshpande. That's his idea. I don't know. Pretty good. Okay. Does this require a roll call? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a naming.
Yeah, okay. So I think with that, why don't we go ahead and, Secretary, take the roll?
Commissioner Elper, absent. Commissioner Forney.
Aye.
Commissioner Menz.
Aye.
Commissioner Olson.
Aye.
Commissioner Rucker.
Aye.
Commissioner Schaefer.
Aye.
Commissioner Turner.
Aye.
Vice President Musich.
Aye.
President DeBenny.
Aye.
You have 8 ayes, 1 absent.
That too carries.
I'd like to move Resolution 2025-264, resolution approving the name Parque Marnaga for the CPRO site.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Is there discussion? Okay. Secretary, will you take the roll?
Commissioner Elper, absent. Commissioner Forney.
Aye.
Commissioner Menz.
Aye.
Commissioner Olson.
Aye.
Commissioner Rucker.
Aye.
Commissioner Schaefer.
Aye.
Commissioner Turner.
Aye.
Vice President Musich.
Aye.
President Benny.
Aye.
You have 8 ayes, 1 absent.
Okay, that motion carries. Now from Admin and Finance.
I will move Resolution 2025-265. This is the first reading of resolution amending PB 15-3 of the Park and Recreation Board Code of Ordinances relating to parkland dedication.
Second.
Okay. Is there discussion? Secretary Ringgold.
President Benny, we actually don't take a vote on it at this point. We wait until the next meeting.
Okay, thank you. So, but we can have discussion if there's interest, correct? It's moved, it's on the floor. Commissioner Olson.
President Benny, just
Oh.
maybe quickly, that our rule is that it was introduced by committee, then referred to the board for a first reading. Typically, this would be the time if the commissioners had any questions or concerns or possible amendments, they'd be brought forward, but they wouldn't be acted on.
Thank you, that's helpful. Commissioner Olson.
Yeah, I would just like to say I'm incredibly excited to see this brought forward, and to see the work that went into it come to fruition. I think this is truly us putting our money where our mouth is when it comes to our Indigenous Action Plan, and to kind of being true to that. As Carrie Day says, we're moving at the speed of trust, and I believe this is something that will go a long way towards building trust and a long way towards creating pathways for us to see future engagement, just as and future progress, just as our coordination with Owamni Okodiapi has done. So yeah, I'm grateful for this, and I look forward to voting for it in the future.
Commissioner Menz.
Thank you, President Benny. Yeah, I'm really sad I can't vote on it since it's only a reading. So thank you for the work on this.
So do we receive and file this then essentially, or do we just, if it's moved as a resolution, receive and file?
Just receive and file.
Okay. So let's,
All right.
Secretary, let's receive and file this. Okay, excellent.
Then I will move Resolution 2025-273, resolution approving a revised Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board background check policy and procedure.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Is there discussion? Okay, seeing none. All those in favor of Resolution 2025-273, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? That motion carries. And moving to the Legislative and Intergovernmental Committee, Commissioner Mentz, do you want to?
Sorry.
That's okay.
Resolution 2025-238, resolution approving one-year contracts effective January 1st, 2026 with Rice Wather Mosley LLP in the amount not to exceed $100,000, and Tom Workman in the amount not to exceed $30,000 for lobbyist services.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there discussion? Okay, seeing no lights, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? That motion carries. Now we'll be moving to unfinished business. Would somebody move the first resolution, please?
I'll move Resolution 2025-274. This is a resolution approving amendment number 1 to project level fundraising agreement number 1 between the Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board and the Minneapolis Parks Foundation related to fundraising intended to support design and construction of the North Commons Park Phase 1 improvements.
Is there a second?
Second.
Yeah.
Okay. Would somebody like Commissioner Schaefer?
I would like a presentation on this.
Thank you. Could we have a presentation on this item? Mr. Elias, welcome.
Thank you, President Benny. Commissioners, this is an amendment to the existing Parks Foundation agreement for the North Commons Park project and the fundraising work that they're doing. Construction is progressing. We are starting to see the semblance of the field house if you've driven past the building recently. The primary change of this amendment to the Parks Foundation agreement is that they are increasing their contribution to the capital of the project from $16.5 million to $20.5 million. So a $4 million increase in their capital contribution to the project. You'll also note the project budget is now listed at $49 million within this agreement. That is taking into account the construction cost increases now that we have about 98% of the construction contracts under bid, noting we still do have a healthy contingency to try to bring that number down. The agreement amendment also clarifies the donation levels and the opportunities for donor recognition, and it details more clearly the funding transfer schedule from the Parks Foundation to the Park Board for this project.
Are there questions? Commissioner Menz.
Thank you, Mr. Ellis, Elias. So can you answer one question for me? Like with the projected 3.5, the overhead or whatever we call it, contingency, what happens with that money if we don't use it for this particular project?
President Abeni, Commissioner Menz, if contingency is unspent within this project budget, we would be returning those funds not to the Parks Foundation. The Parks Foundation money would be coming in. We would have opportunity to look at other funding sources within the Park Board. I would note, though, we still have a project deficit. We are still going to the state for $6 million ask to make up that budget deficit. So at this point, that contingency, if it's unspent, is not a realization of funds that would come back to the Park Board.
Is that deficit currently $6 million? That's the specific amount that we're asking the state for.
President Abeni, Commissioner Menz, yes, that is accurate. Our current deficit is $6 million. That is our ask to the state.
Would this board or a future board be able to designate any contingency funds unused to other projects within North Commons? If the contingency funds are available at the end of the project,
in 2027,
which I know is rare, are those contingency funds able to be redirected back into the project, or are they move on to the next capital project?
President Abeni, Commissioner Menz, I think it would depend on what maybe staff would present to that board at that time with the remaining funding and where we've received reimbursements from the state. If you recall, we have funding coming in from state, city, federal, as well as internal. If it happened to be NPP 20 money that was remaining, it would be up to the board at that time to direct staff as to where to reallocate that funding.
Because that funding is specifically coming from NPP 20, not from the philanthropic donations.
President Abeni, Commissioner Menz, the contingency is part of the project budget. Yep. There isn't a direct connection between where the contingency is specifically funded at this time. So it would be at the completion of the project as we close out all of our grants that we have received from other entities, trying to bring in as much money from the foundation as possible as well, that we would have a realization of a budget surplus in theory that would then be redirected at the direction of the board.
Thank you.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yeah, I just wanted to say thanks to the Minneapolis Parks Foundation for their willingness to increase their energies and support of this very important project that does not go unnoticed by this board. And secondly, I just had a question around the $49 million generally. you know, adjacent to this, I mean, we've been seeing change orders come through now at a significant, sometimes portion of what was already allocated for. Some were mentioned today. Could you just speak somewhere for stormwater improvements that weren't included, others were insurance costs related to project numbers, real project numbers. So can you speak a little bit to, is that 49 million firm, or do you anticipate that we will continue, the board next year will continue to see amendments come through directly around North Commons, or do you feel like that 49 million is pretty firm?
Yeah, President Benny, Commissioner Schaefer, I think we do now have basically all the information we possibly can have about the project. We've completed almost all of the below ground work, which leads to a significant amount of potential change orders in terms of unforeseen conditions. So I think staff feel very comfortable with the $49 million number and do hope to be able to bring that number down with unspent contingency in the future.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Other discussion? Okay. Why don't we go ahead and vote? All those in favor of Resolution 2025-274, please say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries.
I'd like to move Resolution 2025-287, a resolution directing the superintendent to prioritize any future gains in the O&M lottery in lieu proceeds to natural areas expenses in future recommended budgets.
Is there a second? Second. Okay, that's been seconded. Commissioner Olson.
Yeah, I just have a clarifying question. I want to make sure that this isn't combining the Metro Parks Operations and Maintenance Fund and the Lottery in Lieu Fund, which are separate funds that we get from the state. Lottery in Lieu, goes to natural areas, increases sometimes. O&M, Metro Regional Parks is what we're severely underfunded, about $10 million, and a lot of that goes to trail maintenance. And I think if we're ever to reach full satisfaction and maintenance of our trail system, we would need those O&M funds to be able to do that. Is this, Secretary Ringgold, is this just the Lottery in Lieu, or is this the Metro Parks O&M funding that we're talking about here?
Secretary, yeah.
President DeBenny and Commissioner Olson, this is written to specify just the lottery in lieu. It wouldn't include the general fund component that we are, as you said, significantly underallocated in. So yeah, this is just the lottery in lieu.
Okay. In which case, I am supportive of this.
Okay, thank you. Other questions? I guess I would say, you know, Commissioner Forney, I think this came from your work, and I appreciate this. I think this is a creative way to at least make sure that there are incremental increases to these funds. But I do hope we continue to pursue other options for natural areas as well. So, okay. Let's go ahead and vote. All those in favor of Resolution 2025-287, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. We have actually another public hearing, right?
Right.
At 6:30. Should we go to that now maybe, and then we can, so I'll go ahead and recess right now.
Okay.
And turn it over to
Okay,
planning.
I'd like to call to order our planning committee here at 6:28. Secretary Ringo, will you please call the roll? Oh, wait a second. Your light's on?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Commissioner Elper, absent. Commissioner Musich.
Present.
Commissioner Schaefer.
Here.
Vice Chair Rucker.
Here.
Chair Forney.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. I'll take a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That action carries. Okay, we have a public hearing for Todd Park, and so we will have a presentation about it if you wish.
Good evening, Commissioners. Tonight, the resolution before you considers approval of the recommended concept plan for Todd Park. Todd Park is a 13-acre neighborhood park located in the Diamond Lake neighborhood of South Minneapolis. Beloved by community, Todd Park hosts a newly improved playground and is situated directly across from Diamond Lake. Todd Park is a hub of activity with highly used multi-use fields, diamonds, tennis courts, trails, and picnicking facilities. The park is open and heavily programmed for sports of all kinds. In some ways, it is an extension of Pearl Park, as many sports programs run out of that recreation center play at Todd. The South Service Area Parks Plan references a host of improvements for the park, including a playground, basketball court, field and diamond sports improvements, including diamond sports facilities sized for fast-pitch softball, habitat, and seating areas. The plan maintains the much-loved existing multi-use fields and diamonds while expanding gathering spaces and improving the aesthetics and usability of the park. The improvements comprising MPRB-led work are largely replacements or upgrades of existing park features with new equipment and new configurations. Any impact of those improvements to operations and programming would be minimal. A potential partnership with MPS, with Minneapolis Public Schools, to improve Field 4 to a Tier 1 or Premier level condition is not reflected in the MPRB project sources and uses, which really just focuses on MPRB-funded improvements. The introduction of a Class 1 diamond sports facility would result in an increase in the operational costs, which are demonstrated in the lease agreement with Minneapolis Public Schools before the board tonight as Resolution 2025-286. Community engagement throughout 2025 has greatly shaped the proposed project scope and concept plan. The community engagement plan for this project was developed to align with MPRB policy to identify which elements from the long-range vision plans should be the project focus and to define the most effective ways to engage with community. In summer of 2025, MPRB staff led an effort to meet with project stakeholders, including softball advocates who participated in the Diamond Sports Facilities study process, the Hale-Page Diamond Lake Community Association, the Pearl Improvements and Recreation Council, along with neighborhood residents. In the fall of 2025, MPRB staff held a series of meetings with stakeholders and conducted an online survey which asked the community to provide input on what elements from the park's long-range vision plan should be prioritized for improvements. Over 300 people participated in these activities. During engagement, the top priorities for this phase of work were identified by community to be sport court reconfiguration and improvements, diamond sports improvements at 2 fields, an expanded playground, along with naturalized plantings and stormwater management. Community feedback and staff input on initial concepts shaped the preferred concept. The preferred concept was shared with the community at an open house event, also supported by Minneapolis Public School staff and their consultant, along with the project webpage, Gov Delivery email notices, and informational boards in the lobby of Pearl Park Recreation Center. With completion of the draft concept plan, this project's community engagement plan has been updated and is available on the project webpage. The preferred concept plan aligns with the South Service Area Parks Plan and includes improved diamond sports facilities supporting fast-pitch softball, as well as full-court basketball, youth half-court basketball, naturalized plantings, and storage improvements. This current phase of improvements focuses on upgraded and additional sport courts, playground expansion, stormwater management, and upgrading existing trails both at Todd Park and utilizing asset management funds to also resurface trails at nearby Pearl Park. The diamond sports facilities are intended to be implemented in partnership with MPS, again through that lease agreement that will be under consideration later this evening. As noted, the focus of the current available MPRB funding would prioritize improvements to the playground expansion, sport court improvements, habitat improvements, and stormwater management and reuse. The playground was recently improved and reopened for use in the early fall of 2025. The preferred concept shows the playground slightly expanded to include swings and additional nature play elements which reflect outcomes of the robust community engagement effort. Parents, youth, and survey respondents were clear about a desire to incorporate a shaded seating area to help keep an eye on their kids and around the playground area and sport courts. The design shows a seating area with shade structures and benches included within the play area that has clear and unobstructed views. Additional seating is included throughout the expanded play area. The community responded very favorably to the addition of other recreational court amenities in lieu of a storage building with permanent restroom. The concept design reimagines the court area to include a full court basketball court with facilities to also accommodate futsal, youth half-court basketball, a tennis court, a padel court, and a gaga ball pit. The community responded, as I noted, very favorably to improvements identified for 2 Diamond Sports facilities, which would support fast-pitch softball along with 12U baseball. Contingent on approval of the lease agreement with Minneapolis Public Schools, Diamond 4, as noted, would be improved to meet Class 1, or more like a premier field, according to MPRB's Diamond Sports facility study. Again, those improvements would be further enumerated in the agreement that'll be considered separately by you tonight. Diamond 3 would also be improved to align with a Class 2 or 3 designation, really focusing on infield improvements, player dugout and seating, outfield improvements, and backstop improvements. Like field number 4, this field would also accommodate fast-pitch softball along with 12U baseball.
This is for me.
A new concrete pad in proximity to both fields would be provided to accommodate a drinking fountain and portable restroom, along with a potential for a small structure to be used for storage and/or concessions. These improvements would be implemented with this project as funds allow, or incrementally as funding becomes available. With that, staff recommends the Board of Commissioners approve the concept plan for Todd Park. This action is supported by Parks for All, prioritizing new parks and new park amenities that benefit climate resilience and equitable park access, parks that are welcoming and climate resilient, ecologically healthy, playful, and beautiful and safe as they age. Also leveraging partnerships with businesses, sponsors, and agencies and nonprofits to fill financial and service gaps, and collaborating with other agencies and organizations to share best practices in parks and recreation governance, engagement, and public service. Pending approval in committee, staff would request that this item be moved to the full board for consideration this evening. With that, I'd be happy to take any questions.
On that, I will then open up the public hearing. And we do not have anybody signed up, so instead of me going through all the rules, I'm going to just first ask, is there anybody who is interested in speaking? Is there anybody who is interested in speaking to the presentation? Is there anybody interested in speaking? Not seeing anybody who is, I then am going to close then the public hearing and see if there are any questions from the commissioners. Commissioner Menz.
Thank you. I do have a quick question that might be around process. So we also had a concept plan approved today from Jackson Square Park in the consent. Why don't we have a public hearing for that one? Can anybody explain to me the difference here?
This is a change to the master plan.
Director Iverson, to the rescue.
Chair Forney, Commissioner Menz, I wasn't totally ready for this. It maybe goes a little bit to some fine distinctions. So generally speaking, if a plan is bringing forward something that is exactly in line with the concept plan exactly in line with the long-range plan as previously approved, so no changes to facilities, no moving anything around, and we're mostly rehabilitating existing facilities according to the adopted long-range plan. We bring that forward without a public hearing. And then that's the board's choice to approve that, or if you reject that, we would bring it forward with a public hearing if you feel like we want to have that last opportunity for the public to speak. In this case, and in other cases like it, we feel the long-range plan is being fully honored here, but there are some tweaks and modifications to the exact layout of things, the exact uses. We have a court area in this plan. It's not exactly the same as what was in the long-range plan. So in cases like that, we actually go through the formal step of asking whether the community wants to speak one more time in front of the board. And just as a very, very quick refresher, we moved to this change because we find that many of the concept plans that are coming before you with public hearings, like the one tonight, we don't have a lot of people attending. Most of the community engagement that we are doing is happening already. Ms. Hailstone took us through a lot of the engagement that took place around Todd Park. That's pretty common for our projects. Most often, the community voice has been largely heard and satisfied by the time we get to this point. And so that's why we feel in most cases, if we're adopting the plan as envisioned, we don't do the hearing. This one does have some minor differences, which is why we would do a formal hearing.
Thank you for that explanation. I have opinions, but it's not about this particular. And thank you for letting me speak on this committee.
Oh, thank you. President Abene.
Thank you, Chair Forney. I'm not on this committee, but I'd like to just speak to this briefly. I just really appreciate all the work that the planning staff has done with regard to this, and kind of in parallel with kind of this whole agreement thing emerging, responding to the community. I did have a chance to go to one of the open houses, and it was a huge turnout, but the turnout that was there was enthusiastic about the diamonds for sure. So I think this is really pretty exciting. If my math is right, this gets us 27% of the way to the Thompson Amendment. So 27%, that's a big number. So anyway, thank you for the work on this. And this is, I think, a real moment for the park board to be able to really just plan and deliver these fields. So thank you.
Not seeing any other lights and everything. All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Oppose? That action carries. Thank you, Chair Hellstone. And
Chair
I don't
Forney.
believe- Oh, sorry.
That motion wasn't actually moved.
Oh.
So we should move it and then vote on it.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
I'll move resolution 2025-279, resolution approving the preferred concept plan for Todd Park site improvements.
Thank you. Okay. I'll say it again. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Okay, on that, I will then adjourn the planning committee here at 6:42.
You know what? Commissioner Schaefer, I wonder if we should go to admin and finance, because there's some items there that will be coming to the full board.
At 6:43, I'd like to open the Admin and Finance Committee. Secretary Ringgold, can you please take the roll?
Commissioner Alper, absent. Commissioner Forney.
Here.
Commissioner Rucker.
Here.
Vice Chair Musich.
Present.
Chair Schaefer.
Present.
You have a quorum.
Would somebody please make a motion to approve the agenda?
Also move.
All those in favor of the agenda, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. May I have a commissioner please move forward the first resolution?
I'll move resolution 2025-278. This is a resolution approving a donation and use agreement between North Central University and the Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board related to field improvements at Elliott Park, a part of the Minneapolis Park System.
Thank you. Is there any questions around this particular resolution? No questions? All those in favor of this resolution, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries.
I'll also move resolution 2025-281, a resolution approving lease agreement with Ventura Village for commercial space at Phillips Community Center located within Phillips Park for a term of 5 years effective December 15th, 2025.
Would anyone like a presentation on this or have any questions around this lease agreement? I see no questions. All those in favor of resolution 2025-281, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That resolution passes. The last resolution, may someone bring that forward?
I guess it's me again. Resolution 2025-286, a resolution improving the property lease and use agreement between Minneapolis Public Schools and the Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board related to improvements and use of certain softball facilities within Jackson Square Park, Creekview Park, a part of Shingle Creek Regional Trail, and Todd Park.
Any questions or need for staff presentation? All those in favor of Resolution 20, I'm sorry. I did not see your light underneath or between the two folders. President Abene.
I just was going to.
Your mic's not on.
Thank you. I was just going to encourage this, the committee to pass this. I'm not on this committee, so thank you for the chance to speak, and it will come to the full board. So just wanted to say, please, there's a lot of work behind this. Thank you.
There's a lot of work behind a lot of these agreements. Appreciative on the Elliott Park one as well. I know that's something that's been tossed around for several years, so I really appreciate seeing that come forward. All those in favor.
Secretary Ringgold, did you want to speak?
Secretary Ringgold?
Thank you, Chair Schaefer. So there's actually a little bit of work that has to happen on this one. We have, because we posted a red line version of it today, and that red line version has a few edits to it, all consistent with what the school board approved last night. You actually have to suspend your rules to move that red line version and then do a final vote on the amended version.
Thank you for that clarification.
I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules for the purpose of amending the resolution to match the red line version that was posted today.
Second. All those in favor of
You need a roll call vote.
suspending the rules? Go ahead.
Commissioner Elper, absent. Commissioner Forney.
Yeah, aye.
Commissioner Rucker.
Aye.
Vice Chair Musich.
Aye.
Chair Schaefer.
Aye.
You have 4 ayes, 1 absent.
Is there any clarification that commissioners need around the red lines? All those in favor of the amended resolution, please say aye.
Aye.
Point of order. We need to vote, I believe, on the amendment first. So I'll move the amendment.
All right, thank you. So moved. All those in favor of the amendment, please say aye.
Aye.
All those in favor of the amended resolution, please say aye.
Aye.
That motion carries. And with that, I will close the Admin and Finance Committee.
Okay. So with that, I will reopen the full board, and we have a discussion item.
A point of order, I believe we need to do the work that's coming out of committee, if we're considering that at the board level before we begin discussion items. I think that's how that works.
Oh, we have to take up the items first that came from committees?
Point of parliamentary inquiry. Do we need to follow the order of the agenda for action items? Or would we take things coming out of committee tonight after the discussion item before us?
Madam President, Commissioner Musich, I don't think there's a requirement that any one of the items coming up from committee be taken in a particular order. I think it's at the discretion of the chair.
Okay. Then I wrote this down ahead of time. We're sticking with the order that I wrote it down.
Okay.
Okay. So with that, I'd like to do the, move to the discussion item, a discussion
President
item.
Bene? Oh, no.
Oh, I'm sorry, Secretary Ringgold.
Thank you, President Abene. Commissioners, that study item has actually been pulled tonight, so
Oh.
you don't have to consider it.
Okay, I need to, then bear with me for a second. I'm going to move some things on my desk.
can't do
One
anything
second
about
here. So, okay, I have to maybe find some more paperwork. So now I'd like to move to new business. And remember, we added the resolution to the agenda that I was proposing tonight. So I'd like to go ahead and move that for discussion. It was a resolution related to the Charter Commission. So is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Did people get a chance to read this? Should I talk a little bit about it? Or actually, I would prefer to talk to have
Please. About it.
Brian Rice discuss this briefly. He's even going to go up to the podium. Excellent.
In what capacity are we hearing from Mr. Rice?
Council Rice.
Council, fantastic.
Yes. President Benny, members of the board, thank you very much. This is a matter that came up just a week ago. The Minneapolis City Charter Commission met on December 3rd and received a rather extensive report from the city clerk's office that was called an analysis of municipal councils and select comparable jurisdictions research project of the Charter Commission, presented December 3rd. It was prepared by Guidehouse, a global professional services firm that delivers advisory, technology, and managed services to commercial and government sectors. There was a newspaper story on this, and it reported that Guidehouse was a artificial intelligence company. And in this report, this group has been retained by the city council. It's got a pretty large contract to do research for them. At the Charter Commission, there was a presentation of an elaborate set of technical amendments to the Charter Commission, which had been previously considered. And there was also quite an elaborate discussion about Minneapolis city elections. There's been a long-standing debate about extending the terms of, or syncing up city elections with either the state constitutional officer elections or the presidential elections. And it would appear that there's going to be some effort in the next year to extend the terms of elected officials in Minneapolis and match it up with the next state election, which would be held in 2030. There was also analysis of council representation, the size of the city, duties and functions of the city council, the structure of its committee system. There's been quite a debate between the mayor and the council about what offices should be confirmed. We'd be subject to the advise and consent provision about people being confirmed, department heads needing confirmation by the city council for their offices. The mayor's wanted to limit that to 3 to 5, and there's about a dozen or so that are under the current charter. There was talk about the staffing of the city council, the number of employees they have, and very much to my surprise, and very much the surprise of Frankie Johnson, myself as your legal counsel, Ms. Gokemeyer as the IGR coordinator, and Frankie Johnson, we keep a very careful eye on the deliberations of the Charter Commission because it's essentially the governing document of the city, not only the city council, but of the park board. And the city councils, the people that staff the Charter Commission are the city clerk, and so the city council has quite a handle on what's happening in the Charter Commission. This board, I see former President Forney nodding her head. She's well aware of these fights that have occurred over the years, and talked about the budgets of cities. They made some findings about elections. They made some findings about representation. They made some findings about council and functions, and on page 24 of their report, much to my shock, and I had this shock about a week ago exactly because Ms. Johnson presented a report to me. They're finding, this is a finding now of this Guidehouse. Based on research of comparable jurisdictions in Minneapolis, powers normally assigned to a city's legislative body have been delegated to other elected bodies, parent, MPRB, and BET. This has the effect of diminishing the authority of the Minneapolis City Council. No comparable jurisdiction has separate elected policy-making bodies to rival its council, but some do have other elected executive officers. The model city charter, which I'm not familiar with, but apparently this artificial intelligence company has a model charter somewhere, strongly discourages diffusing/decentralizing policy-making authority into multiple elected bodies and or officials in preference on a single legislative body and a single centralized executive/administrative officer. I have to say, I've represented this board as general counsel for 41 years now. I have to wonder, this was December 3rd, 4 days later was December 7th. I'm just shocked by this. And I think it's imperative that this Board of Commissioners at least be very aware of that. I alerted President Abeni to it. There were several questions raised by charter commissions that I provided Commissioner Benny by two of the charter commission members. It's a 15-member body. It appears to me that there's some effort going on in City Hall of which I wasn't aware. I don't think that anybody in the organization, the Park Board organization, was aware, and that there's a number of issues that may implicate a change in the charter that would, I'm not sure what. I mean, it looks like when it says that their consultant is basically recommending you not have a park board or a BET. I don't know how else to read this, frankly. I've tried to look at it several ways. I did say I've represented the board for a long time. I can recall twice in my experience of representing this board that there were two efforts to get rid of the park board. One in the mid-90s by Steve Menn, and who's a council member at the time. And then 16 years ago in 2009, there was an effort led by Paul Ostro, Dan Nijolik, Scott Benson, Don Samuels, about a half a dozen or more council members who kind of, again, came out of nowhere and went to the Charter Commission and tried to eliminate the park board and the BET. It was a very long and prolonged fight that happened that year. It had a lot of consequences. This board, in reaction to that effort to abolish the council, or abolish the park board, started a petition campaign to make the park board independent of City Hall. The upshot of that long debate was that the Charter Commission, by a very close vote, decided not to put that on the ballot. The park board went ahead with its petition that collected over 28,000 signatures. The council took the advice of the city attorney office and rejected that. There was a court case. The upshot was to bring, however, the BET amendment to eliminate the BET from the charter and to give the power to set the levy to the city council. There was then a subsequent campaign to fight that charter amendment that members of this board participated in, and the long and short, there was a vote that year, and the effort to abolish the BET failed by a 2-to-1 vote. And of course, Commissioner Mantz, you served on the BET, Commissioner President Benny has. Without the BET, this board would have no say over the levy. And, you know, Superintendent Bangor has fought ferociously along with Ms. Ringgold, the staff, Ms. Gochmeyer, the commissioners, to move that levy up just incrementally to fund positions. And there's some leverage there by having one seat on the BET. If you would eliminate the park board one seat and the 2 elected seats, it's basically between City Hall and the mayor to decide what your budget is. And as far as I'm concerned, speaking from experience, if you lose that, you lose a substantial amount of what the definition of an independent park board is, because a key ability is to set your own levy. That's a defining feature of a local unit of government, and while you may be able to set your levy, if somebody else tells you what your levy is going to be, if the city council and the mayor make a deal and say, okay, the park board gets this, I guess you can follow through at this board and exercise your authority to set a levy that somebody else has told you what to do. But in my view, and I know it's late, I know there's times tonight, I cannot think of anything in my judgment that is more serious than you know, what was presented a week ago to the Charter Commission. So I worked with President Benny, and there's a draft resolution that she worked on quite a bit that would put the board on record as having serious concerns about this, and asking, I'll let President Benny explain it, but basically giving the park board the opportunity to appear in front of the Charter Commission. And I will say this, Guidehouse, the artificial intelligence company, has a $650,000 contract, and I'm not sure we've seen all their research. I don't know that this organization has those kinds of resources to try to reach out and talk, although I did have a great conversation with Commissioner-elect Despondi, and he's already provided some great information about, you are not the only elected park board in the country. In fact, if you look about a mile, 2 miles to your west, right, Commissioner Brucker, if he looks across the park, he will see Hennepin County, and Hennepin County has its own elected park board, and that the counties in the state have powers to run parks, and the legislature and the voters of this area have had the wisdom not only to make an elected independent Minneapolis Park Board, there's an elected independent park district that's twice the size of ours. So again, I guess that's AI at its best or worst maybe, and there's certainly other cities in Illinois too, but we could go on, and that we don't have that categorized yet. But I would say, like I said, you know, Franklin Roosevelt called December 7th, 1941, a day that will live in infamy. I'm not sure that December 3rd is quite that bad, but I'm kind of shocked that after an end of a city election, 24 hours from the end of the city election, where people could talk about these issues and, you know, what's the role of the BET, what's the role of the park board, the city government, something like this is presented to the Charter Commission of the city.
Thank you very much for that. I'll just add, on the BET, but also to the city council, so this firm Guidehouse, which they're the consultants, but they're looking at several different things. It looks to me like at the city, the article in the paper recently about the mayor's salary, the size of the city council, maybe the council's, you know, compensation package. Also, they're looking at the alternative revenue sources for the city, so they're doing a lot of work. So this is probably part of that, but I do think it's a really good catch by our legal counsel team and our intergovernmental relations person, and Pamela Gokemeyer. So I think if we have a resolution, and the resolution would have us draft a letter and then request or indicate that we would like to participate at the next Charter Commission meeting. Is that correct, Council Rice?
At a Charter Commission meeting, but I would point out at this point, the next Charter Commission meeting is set for January 7th.
Right.
Again, that is a little bit of you, if you can detect some urgency in my voice, I'd say that because, I mean, the New Year's is in sight, right? I mean, the board's going to adjourn today. Next week is the holidays, and then New Year's. You're going to get, we have an annual meeting here on the 2nd. There's a swearing in on the 5th, and basically you're going to be back at work before you know it on the 7th of January.
Yeah.
I do think, I would say, not only for this board maybe, but more importantly for the next board, the incoming board, I cannot honestly think of a more urgent matter that at least needs to be on the radar screen of the upcoming board to look at this, because the schedule at this point is one meeting on January 7th, which agenda might already be in the process of writing, and there's not another one until later. I would say, just further information, if there is a charter amendment on this topic, you will likely know about it by May or June. Is typically, that's how these things shape up. And, you know, God save the park board if this is going on the if there's a plan to make an amendment to abolish the BET or the park board, there's not a lot of time between now and the next election.
So the immediate action would be to send a letter before the end of this calendar year. So if we adopt this resolution. So is there other discussion or questions, concerns? Okay. Well, I think we can vote on this. The resolution related to the Charter Commission. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Thank you so much, Council Rice. Okay, now we'll bring the items up from committee. And I don't know, let's go ahead and do, there's one from the Planning Committee.
I'll move resolution from the Planning Committee. I will move resolution 2025-279. Oh, do I have the full resolution?
Yeah.
A resolution approving the preferred concept plan for Todd Park site improvements.
Second.
That's been seconded. Is there a discussion? Okay, seeing none. All those in favor of resolution 2025-279, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. And now there are three coming out of Admin and Finance.
I will move Resolution 2025-278, resolution approving a donation and use agreement between North Central University and the Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board related to field improvements at Elliott Park, a part of the Minneapolis Park System.
Second.
Is there a discussion? Okay, seeing none. All those in favor of Resolution 2025-278, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries.
I will move Resolution 2025-281, resolution approving a lease agreement with Ventura Village for commercial space at Phillips Community Center, located within Phillips Park for a term of 5 years, effective December 15th, 2025.
Is there a discussion? Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Is there a discussion? Okay, this is a roll call, so Secretary, will you take the roll?
Commissioner Elper, absent. Commissioner Forney.
Aye.
Commissioner Menz.
Aye.
Commissioner Olson.
Aye.
Commissioner Rucker.
Aye.
Commissioner Schaefer.
Aye.
Commissioner Turner.
Aye.
Vice President Musich.
Aye.
President Abeni.
Aye,
You have 8 ayes, 1 absent.
that motion carries.
I will move the final resolution, 2025-286, resolution approving the property lease and use agreement between Minneapolis Public Schools and Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board related to improvements to and use of certain softball facilities within Jackson Square Park, Creekview Park, a part of Shingle Creek Regional Trail, and Todd Park.
Second.
It's been seconded. Is there discussion? Commissioner Menz?
Yes, I do have some discussion on this. I was wondering if we could make an amendment to this resolution to put an "or" clause in. I put it out there before, so I guess I'm asking for a motion to suspend the rules.
No, I think you don't have to, this.
We can just make an amendment, move an amendment to the
Yeah.
resolution.
Yeah,
So I would like to move before the board an amendment to add "or Field 4 within Northeast Athletic Fields," following the words Jackson Square Park to the resolution description and the resolved clause.
was that having is someone seconding that? Was somebody second that?
Second.
Who seconded it? I couldn't. hear.
Tom.
Olson.
Okay. So Commissioner Menz, I think you want to speak to this?
That would be great. So I apologize for this being the last thing on the agenda before we adjourn. I guess maybe it's a little fitting. This is a serious and significant concern to the community because, and some of the things I've seen tonight, even with how Todd Park is being rolled out, which is going to be great. That park space is amazing. There are lots of fields there. I'm very concerned, and I wanted to alert the board of my concerns. I've talked to the superintendent that once things start moving at Jackson Square Park, the community will have a response. This is not, although it may fit somewhat with the long-range plan of the space, it was never intended to be a premier facility with lights, a batting cage. The community needs to hear more about this, and there is significant concern there. And I don't want us to block funding for girls' fast pitch. What I'm asking for is this amendment to add on in case there is community input, which there most definitely will be. There already has been by former council member Reich, who was instrumental in creating this space and what the intent was and how the proposed plans are going to impact those. So I'm asking for you to add this language. It doesn't prevent us from moving forward with Jackson Square Park, according to my interpretation. Council Rice might want to weigh in, but it allows us, if this lease agreement, if this other park becomes not feasible because of community desires and what the intention of the space is, that we have the ability to move on. But maybe Council Rice can comment on what the proposed language would do to the lease agreement.
Yeah, before we call on Council Rice, I have some comments too, some concerns, real concerns here, but I think Secretary Ringgold's light is on.
President Abeni, Commissioner Menz, maybe one clarifying question that I have is the intent of this amendment to compel the school board to use their funding to do Northeast Park instead of Jackson Square, or is it to ask the park board to prioritize Northeast Park?
The intent is not that, it's not intended to be that directive, but be an option. Because I do not believe that the school board did enough outreach or community engagement to understand what people want in this space. And if we were looking at those plans of Todd Park today, we're thinking of this space as one city block, where there was open space at times. There's a fence up there right now that was never intended to be up there. I could read the text that I have from former council member Reich. What we're asking for, what is needed, is a little bit of a pause. So if I'm satisfied with this amendment being put into the resolution as an option, or possibly a motion to postpone.
Secretary?
President Abeni, Commissioner Menz, I would say this would put the agreement itself out of alignment with the school board.
Yep.
And so I'm not certain how they would respond to it, but it would put us in a spot tonight of approving something that isn't currently where the school board is at. So I just want you to be aware of that.
Yeah, and I'm not going to call on you just yet, Commissioner Menz. I would very much say that that's the case. So this isn't a concept at this point. It's a lease. This is a lease, this is an agreement. And so these are negotiated terms. The reason that Jackson Square Park is in this agreement is because the school, Minneapolis Public Schools, the partner in this lease, pushed and pushed and pushed for that location. So that may be, but we're honoring the lease so that we can, we're honoring their wishes in these 3 locations, really, in order to rectify this problem and serve the girls of our city. So, Council Rice.
Madam President and Commissioner Mentz, yes, if you look at the documents, it's very specific that this agreement applies to 3 parks, Jackson Square, Creekview, and Todd Park. And not only does it apply to the 3 parks, it's very specific as to what amenities will be built at each of the parks. So I concur with what the Secretary is saying, that if this amendment is added, there is not a meeting of the minds between what the school board did last night and what's being proposed here tonight. And what's being proposed here tonight was exactly what was voted on by the school board last night. And they don't have another meeting this year.
I'll also add is that this park has been in play for this calendar year, at least since we adopted, I believe, the TAC report. So we're at the bitter end of what I understand was a fairly positive negotiation and collaboration between the organizations, and so I think if we try to amend the lease agreement at the dais here, I think it derails the whole thing for the time being until it could be resolved, and I think that would be a mistake. Commissioner Menz.
Thank you, President Benning. Thank you, Council Rice, for weighing in. I do hear those concerns. There have been multiple times in this process where I expressed concern about this space for the community. I think that what I want my fellow commissioners to know is that I am very supportive of there being a facility right next to Edison High School for this purpose, but I don't know if it really is the best interest for the park board at this time. We are giving up a space. We are really giving up what community has decided that space it should be, and we did not inform them adequately. I also mentioned when it was inform level consent or engagement that was probably not enough for this space. So I know it's at the end. I know we're going to support this and we're going to move forward, and I appreciate all the work done. But our 2 organizations have worked well to get this completed, but we are still siloing. Every time I would ask a question, go talk to the park board. Go talk to the school board. We are still doing this, and I hope that it works out. I really do, but I would warn the future board that there is going to be response from community, and I think that it is a fine site, but it's not the best site. Todd Park gets 2 facilities next to each other. There's one, so and this also loops back to the original field that went into Northeast Park at the beginning of our term. So we can vote on it, but I'm going to vote against it.
So, okay, so we do have the amendment before us. Is there any other discussion related to the amendment? Okay, let's go ahead and vote on the,
With the proposed language adding the "or," right? Or are we voting on the original one?
No, we're voting on adding what Commissioner Menz is putting forward. All those in favor of the amendment, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
That motion fails. And with that, we can go to the main resolution. Is there discussion? Commissioner Menz.
I'd like to make a motion to postpone to the first meeting in January. I'm not hearing a second. Okay.
Is there discussion about the resolution? I actually have a couple things. I hope we pass this. I think we will. I guess to the points maybe that were made, I had some people reaching out to me in the last couple of days, and there are occasionally people that aren't happy with the plan. So all the sayings, right? You're not going to please all the people all the time, but this has been a very, very incredibly long process. We, I think, are granting something very supportive to the schools, and they're needing to act. But they're not silent partners in this. That are just they are partners that are very clear about which spaces they prefer for these locations for their investment. So, okay, Commissioner Menz, for maybe the final time.
Final time. I do not want to put a sour taste on this accomplishment. We have done so much. So I'm just trying to help us understand that when that comes back, how are we going to be prepared to share that with community? So it's going to be great to have us walk out of Edison High School. Girls get to go right across the street to that facility. We are doing a great job giving a good deal to the school board here. So, but in the interest of representing the community that is District 1 and that neighborhood, there will be concerns. The school district did not do enough outreach. We will feel the blowback. So just please be prepared for that, and then we'll be supportive and we'll get our facility.
Okay, other discussion? I don't see any, and so I do think it's fitting. This is maybe our last action of the calendar year, so, and the term. I'd like to go ahead and take this to a vote, and it's a roll call vote. Resolution 2025-286. Secretary?
Commissioner Elper, absent. Commissioner Forney.
Aye.
Commissioner Menz.
No.
Commissioner Olson.
Aye.
Commissioner Rucker.
Aye.
Commissioner Schaefer.
Aye.
Commissioner Turner.
Aye.
Vice President Musich.
Aye.
President DeBenny.
Definitely aye.
You have 7 ayes, 1 nay, 1 absent.
Okay, well, thank you. Thank you very much for that. And with that, I'll move to petitions and communications, and I'll start with Commissioner Forney.
Pass?
Commissioner Olson.
See y'all next year.
Commissioner Rucker.
Pass.
Commissioner Schaefer.
Pass.
Commissioner Menz.
Pass.
Commissioner Turner.
Toodles. Pass.
Vice President Musich.
Pass.
Oh, boy. I just have to say a couple of things, so I'm not going to pass, sorry. I started to write down a list of the names of the people who in this organization that worked on the Diamond Sports, all of it, for girls fast pitch. And, I mean, I'm bad with names, and I definitely don't know all the people, but clearly in every single part of this organization, every single part, planning, recreation, maintenance, operations, and of course, in the superintendent's office and the deputy superintendent's office, everybody worked on this. And I think it's a really big accomplishment, and I just really want to say how grateful that I am for getting this over the finish line. So good job, and good job to the commissioners. Excellent. And then I also want to point out, and I hope it's okay, but I do believe that recently the foundation highlighted that they got a large donation from the Wilson Foundation. And I just want to say, our superintendent, I know, was instrumental in getting this donation directed toward North Commons Park for $4 million. I don't know if I have all the details, but I know how hard he worked and how he brought that to the table. So thank you very much. Thank you. And with that, and without objection, I will declare the meeting adjourned.
Hope we can